Hey there, welcome to Tabletop Finds, brought to you by the Tabletop Travel Guide. Today we are talking about hazards and traps.
Technically, a trap is a category of hazard,
That's
so they are
true.
all in the same umbrella, I learned today.
Yes, So we were talking about hazards. Now, hazards
I'm Ryan.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Sam.
There it is.
There it is. This is who we are. Somebody might be really confused if they jumped in.
We're just jumping right into
who are
the
these
stuff
people?
that might mess you up.
Yes. So, hazards. Have you guys used them?
All the time.
Yeah.
Love them.
I've used a few. I struggle sometimes to figure out like where to fit things because I'll have an idea and then I'll look at the hazards later. I do better when I look at the hazards first and then build an encounter to incorporate them rather than trying to like squeeze them in.
Well, they kind of fit better since there are a lot of environmental things.
Sure.
So hazards, like Sam alluded to, is you have different categories. You have haunts, you have traps.
Yep.
You have simple hazards, you have complex hazards. You have environmental, I believe, as well. Mm-hmm. So you have all kinds of different types of hazards, but they're really good to kind of spice up an encounter.
Yes.
I have used them in the past for, if you don't want to just throw another enemy and more damage soak, you throw a hazard out there so it kind of throws people off without having to just like add another 200 HP that they have to churn through.
Sure.
Yeah.
I really like to chain multiple hazards in the same location.
Yeah.
And really ratchet up the difficulty.
Yeah. You jerk.
That's where the real fun begins, is when you get multiple hazards synergizing. Then it's
Was it your campaign, Ryan, where we all got trapped in a room that was filling with water?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a monster.
And something else. And did we split the party where some people were outside the door and some people were inside?
Half of you were outside the door, and it wasn't water, it was wine. The room was filling with wine.
That was what it was.
Yeah, that's why, luckily, you gave us a get out of free. You just have an item that I can tell you at any point, and I just told you I wanted an immovable rod.
It worked.
It worked.
I gave you the thing, and it worked.
Yeah. So we all brought 3 hazards, so we'll see if we overlap at all.
The list is decently long.
It's pretty decent.
Yeah.
And we'll just talk about them. Talk through them, explain how we might use some of them. So who wants to go first?
I can go.
Go for it.
I'll start us off with just a classic.
Cool.
Classic hazard.
Classic hazard.
The classic scythe blades.
Ooh, of course.
Okay.
You can't get it. You can't get around. It's like it's the trap. It's the hazard that's always there.
Yeah.
You can combine it with anything. Level 4, 2 blades hidden in a 15-foot ceiling groove. Tripwire comes down, slice and dice. Not a whole lot else there. I mean, you can move that up and down in terms of damage depending on what your level is and just kind of scale the damage dice.
Yeah.
It's pretty boring in terms of, there's a hallway and there's 2 tracks. I wonder what's in those. But if you combine it, or like hide it stealthily behind a rug, or like do some other fun things, you can make that definitely surprising.
What would be cool is if you like had it set up to be a trap that you would hit on the way out, so you like go through it and you're fine, and then you're like running from an enemy and it hits, you're like, we just ran through here.
That is a whole... Do you remember the book of puzzles from 3.5?
Vaguely.
Ooh, I should pull that out. That book is old enough. I can probably post that, right? Maybe.
I wouldn't trust posting anything made by Wizards of the Coast.
That's true. The whole trap is that it's like 20 traps in a row. None of them trigger as you go to the center of the dungeon. And then when you like realize there's nothing in the middle of the dungeon and you start to walk out, then all the traps trigger.
Dang. Nice.
I'll look it up. I'll figure out what that puzzle was.
Yeah, I like a good classic trap.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, I have one.
Nice.
With a bit of classic in it. A bit of whimsy, if you will.
Okay, whimsy. I like whimsy.
I have the Shrinking Hall. And this is a hazard 2. It's from the Dark Archive. Basically what happens is the hallway is designed to shrink as creatures move through it, making access to the door at the end of the hall impossible because at the point it's 6 by 6 inches.
Oh my god. 6 by 6 feet? No.
So is it physically the hallway gets narrower, or is it magically restricting?
Yeah.
physically.
Okay.
Well, I guess like, is it that optical illusion type thing, or like does it happen as they're moving?
So if somebody steps onto a triggering plate in the floor, 100 pounds of weight or more, so
Yeah.
mid-sized individual,
Right.
Leshy party.
then the last 40 feet of the walls start to angle inward, causing the hall to shrink and contract down until it's 6 by 6
inches
at the end, blocking access to the exit door for anything but a tiny creature who can squeeze.
Huh.
Nice.
So it's like a little bit of like Alice in Wonderlandy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good question. How do you disable that? What's the disable?
It resets after 10 minutes if no one has stepped on the triggering tile.
So get good.
So
you just have to like back out and hope. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
You can thievery it to jam the plate, and then you could like walk across it, so you could disable it from the front end.
Yeah.
Or I guess if you wanted to be really creative, you could fly through the hallway. If you don't put weight down, then you're not going to trigger it. So there's a couple of different ways that like you could get through it. I just think it would be really funny. Like, oh, I walked in this hallway.
Just like slowly crouching.
Why is it getting tinier?
See, this is how you make low-level creatures terrifying and dangerous. Like, it's a kobold dungeon. The kobolds wouldn't trigger the trap, but if adventurers walk in, they find themselves in trouble and the kobolds corner them in a tiny hallway.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I like that.
Nice.
And then the kobolds are like, ha ha ha, we've trapped you in our tiny hallway.
Right. And especially, they don't need to kill them, but like, they could be like, you owe us money now. Or like, we'll never open it unless you give us money.
Always root for the kobolds, really.
I mean, they made them so dang cute.
They did.
Oh, yeah.
I just want them to win.
You're like, oh, buddy, you're so cute. Cool. Well, I think we all had the same idea for our first option. I also picked not necessarily a classic, but I kind of went simple. Environmental. Sure. This is called Cracked Earth. So this might be more either in a larger area of a dungeon or maybe like outside as you're exploring in the woods or something. So it is a hazard level 3. It is simple. 20-foot by 20-foot patch of ground that is cobwebbed with cracks and fissures that crumble when a creature steps on it. So kind of pitfall trap.
Yeah.
As a reaction, is if you step on it, it fractures and that creature can use grab an edge. Otherwise, it takes falling damage from a 50-foot drop.
Decent damage.
Which at level 3 is,
that'll hurt.
Decently solid.
Yep.
Ouch.
And yeah, it has a note at the end. Some of these rifts eventually lead to the Darklands. So who knows?
Oh no.
So this is the baby version of what Tarbafon used for Eridan. No, but you could kind of use this as doesn't even have to be like a dungeon crawl. Just like you're on exploration, you're going around and like this is something that happens while you're traveling. Like random encounter, you have to deal with it. It might not be too hard to get out of it, but like something to just kind of like mix up travel time.
Yeah, keep your players on their toes.
Yeah. And then kobolds show up.
Damn kobolds.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like the different kind of, shake things up, make it less boring. You don't just have to be like, you travel, you go. Yeah.
Well, the important thing I think too for the smaller, like the lower level traps especially, reskin them.
Yeah.
Like that is a trap where things fall.
Yes.
You can think of a million ways why your players might fall. So just take the stats for the trap and make it so something else happens to cause them to fall.
Yeah. An avalanche happens. Like you're on a mountaintop and something crumbles off a cliff. Like that counts as a cracked earth thing. Makes it easy.
You're in an old building.
Yep.
Yeah.
The floor
collapses.
Yeah. Reflavor as you need.
Reflavor as needed.
Nice.
Okay. Number 2.
So now we're going to get a little weirder.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Insistent privacy fence.
What?
A level 8 hazard.
Okay.
It is literally an electric fence hooked up to a Stasian coil. It's carefully hidden, so it's like a very, very thin wire.
Yeah.
And if you directly touch the fence, you take 70-12 electrical.
Oh.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a sneaky stretch of fence that is electrified. It's literally an electric fence.
Or great for farmers who need to keep their
farmers
cattle in.
Oh, shish kebab the cows.
Hopefully not.
They're bigger. They don't take damage
I
like
don't know
we
what
take
that.
damage.
That's not a bad one. 70-12 probably is bad consequences for a
What's
cow.
that? What? How many?
Like
It's
a
a
cow has
CR of a cow.
2, 3.
Ooh, that seems optimistic.
Anyway,
The thing that I really like about this is you can disconnect it by like disconnecting the wire,
yeah.
or it calls out if your party manages to jury rig a grounding device.
Oh my
Ooh.
gosh.
So if you can pull the current to ground, that totally counts and bypasses the trap.
So you
Wow.
basically just need to always go around with a wooden dowel to just like poke them.
Or throw your cleric on
No.
the wires, and it will ground it for the rest of the party. They can heal themselves.
Ooh, boy.
I found a grounding implement. You did? Yeah, get in there, buddy.
Shoves party member forward.
Are you able to, like, do you just perception check to be able to see that it's there? Or do you have to do anything special to know?
Yeah. Its stealth DC is 30. So if you can see it, you see it. You may or may not be able to disable it.
Sure.
And that's
sure.
where like straight thievery to just disable it, or it calls out a crafting check to jury rig a grounding device. But I would say if players can reasonably argue that they do it safely, like that's where I think that they could argue they throw a metal rod in there.
Yeah.
The crafting check is to do it safely.
How exactly does the enemy cover up the high voltage sign?
Oh, interesting.
It's like, what's the OSHA equivalent of dungeon
Ooh,
traps? Sorry.
OSHA equivalent.
This is something you have to notify. It's very high voltage.
It depends on what country you're in. Some of the countries would be like, free for all. Some of them have regulations.
I mean, this is probably the Stasian technologies from Ustalov, so I could definitely see this like zombie pen, do not cross.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like
Do
that.
not cross zombie pen. Does it have a secondary effect if like you try to grab somebody currently being electrocuted?
No, it just calls out like directly touch with a tool or a weapon. But I think that's definitely a rule of cool. If the party chains up and one person touches it, I'm going to make a chain through everybody.
Well, it's like you're not supposed, like, you're supposed to, if somebody is getting electrocuted by something, you're supposed to like smack them with wood to get them off. You're not supposed to touch them in real life.
Fun fact,
Like, I apparently don't know what to do when someone's being electrocuted.
Look,
I did not realize you were supposed to smack them with wood.
You're supposed to use a non-conducting material to like.
Yeah, so
okay, that's fair.
This is probably a little questionable. Whenever I'm doing high voltage electric work at work, and I'm working with students to like impart on them that it is a serious thing that is dangerous,
Okay,
I will
choose your next words.
I will hand them a 2x4 and say, "You're the 2x4 guy. If I get shocked, break my arms."
Oh.
And they like look at me weird, and I'm like, "No, I'm serious. You're gonna stand there with the 2x4, and I mean, I'm wearing all the proper PPE and I do things safely, but if something bad were to happen, I want you to break my arms." And they like, it gets very serious very quickly.
And that's when I'd be like, I don't want to be an engineer anymore.
Sam's like, I'm gonna leave now.
Goodbye.
There you go.
I've never had to have a student break my arms, so it's gone well.
Thank
I guess.
goodness.
Nice. Anyway,
You guys would know, I guess.
Ryan just shows up in 2 casts. Oh. Bad day at work?
Luckily, you don't need your arms to record this podcast.
That's true. I don't need them.
Okay, well, I know the next trap that would get the entire party conversing about the strategic electricity. Sam, what do you got?
On that note, I'm also going to go slightly weirder. I have a hazard 5. It is the entrapping chair. And this is also from the Dark Archive. I would like you all to recall a movie from our youth.
Oh,
Casper.
Yes.
yes.
The live action with Christina Ricci. Do you recall the scene where she walks out and a chair scoops her up and takes her down into like the vaulty...
Vaguely, yeah. Sort of, yes.
This is that chair.
Okay.
Cool.
The chair is on concealed tracks, and if an individual steps onto the track, the chair surges forward, knocks into them, deals bludgeoning damage, and then it clamps onto them.
Oh, like holds on to them?
Yeah, and
Okay.
then whoop, down the track.
Oh my gosh. Jim, where'd you go? The chair just swoops up.
Is the damage a lot?
The initial bludgeoning damage is 3d8 plus 15.
That's
Dang,
not
that's not
horrible for that level of
Yeah.
So you can reflex save to get out of the way, essentially. But if you fail, then you're knocked into the chair and you're captured by the armrests and you're now grabbed.
Yeah.
Now I'm all imagining is like the track keeps going and then you just have a bunch of kobolds with 2x4s smacking you on the way.
It's like the football machine for the tackling drills.
Yeah. Just get whacked.
It doesn't like signify anything about the track or where it goes. So this is the part that I think is fun because then it's like, okay, you can pretty much determine where
it goes,
where it ends up.
Well,
it just says that it like jumps out. So it actually, I guess, could be like it just moves up and then doesn't move any further. But I would definitely have it be like a ride.
Oh yeah. This is going somewhere really bad.
Or like even
or
just
hilarious.
Or if you wanted to use it as like combat things, like the chair comes in, traps something, and then you get attacked, like you're one party member down while they're trying to figure out how to get out of the chair.
Oh my gosh, you enter a room. On the periphery of the room, there are 20 chairs, and the big bad evil guy floats above the floor in the middle.
It's the anti-musical chairs you're trying to avoid.
They all come to you.
Oh,
it's like Beauty and the Beast when all the furniture comes to life and attacks the townspeople. It's that.
yeah.
We're gonna have an entrapping chair. We're gonna find a wardrobe that just grapples people.
Oh yeah, same thing. Reskin this into any other entrapment device. Yes.
It'd be really funny. The whole room just comes alive to try to grab everybody.
Yes.
Oh.
Put a mimic in the corner.
No, it's the stupid another show from our childhood, Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yes.
When you're running through the dungeon and like the dudes come out through the wall and grab you.
Yes. Oh,
yes.
What
Horrifying.
an excellent show.
But great show.
Yeah, I'm in. I love this.
Okay.
So many possibilities.
Yes. I was just really excited when I read this. I was like, this is weird. I like it.
Yeah. So when I was kind of choosing my hazards, I wanted to do 3 different types based on like what they do to a party, and like kind of how they might hamper it. So the first one was obviously just kind of time, right? Dropping them in, trying to figure that out. So the second one I picked is Hazard 6 from Dark Archive called Clone Mirrors.
Okay.
So 2 opposing mirrors spawn illusory duplicates of creatures in the hall in an unending tide. So you basically walk in. This is a complex hazard. So when a creature is reflected in the mirror, a mirror creates a reflection of the triggering creature, which steps out of the mirror and into the hall, and then the trap rolls initiative. So it jumps into combat.
Okay. Yeah.
And then every turn, it uses an action to spawn another reflection of a creature that's reflected in the mirror. So it can have a maximum of 4 reflections at once. And these things are like, they're not, they're pretty weak by level, 6 standards. They have like 30 health. They deal standard damage, like 2d6 plus 8.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I like this one as kind of like a way to add enemies to a combat without like adding full strength enemies to a combat.
Yeah.
You're kind of like mooking it up, and then you're also trying to like solve the puzzle of like how to
turn it off.
How to turn these things off. You can like thievery to reposition the mirrors, or you can use like a dispel magic to counteract.
So you like can't kill the mirror creatures.
You can kill the mirror creatures, so they do have 30. So you can kill the reflections, but they will keep spawning.
Okay.
As long as you are continuing to be reflected in there,
they
so
keep coming back.
Yeah. So theoretically, you could just like get out of the reflection and they won't spawn.
Sure.
But I kind of like that as just I did something somewhat similar in a combat before where I had like, people call them minions. It's almost like a there's like a 4th edition thing that was similar, but basically like enemies that like will hit you hard, but then like you only need like a skill check or like one attack to get rid of them.
One hit to get rid of them.
Yeah. So kind of a way to like pad the numbers and make it dangerous without being like, okay, you now have 6 more enemies to like drain.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't want to run that as a GM anyway.
No, that sucks. But like having something where it's like, oh, they have to like skill check their way to fix this while like fighting actual combat, I think would be pretty cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one's kind of a 3-fer. Did either of you guys do any weather?
No.
Okay, so my thought processes here is these hazards by themselves are not necessarily terrifying at first, but I like the idea of putting it in an encounter, because I think I forget to put weather in, and it's almost like the static understanding usually is like, It's also perfectly sunny, and you have perfect vision everywhere.
Yeah.
And like, I just forget to weather sometimes. There are rules in 2E for heavy downpour and thunderstorms and all the way up to tornadoes.
I did not
Ooh.
even know that.
Yes. So heavy downpour just basically makes it like bad visibility. You might have to make a check to move through heavy mud or something.
Yeah.
Thunderstorms start to be dangerous. You have to keep in mind you don't want to get hit by lightning, but in general, you're okay unless you get hit by lightning.
Yeah.
And it basically says like, unless you hold your metal shield above your head, you're probably not getting hit by lightning, but you should still consider that.
Yeah.
And then all the way up to my actual choice, hazard level 12 plus, full tornado,
Ooh.
strangely colored or ominously shaped clouds offer the arrival of a distant funnel cloud in the region. There's a tornado coming, and your players got to deal with it.
Oh my gosh.
And then they just fell into a pit, and now a tornado's showing up.
Well,
Yeah.
the pit might be better to be in if
Oh,
the
that's true.
tornado's
The
coming
pit would
through.
actually be a safe
So-
That's a
spot.
basement, essentially.
This is obviously just like a very dangerous hazard. Survival DC 35
Holy
to
crap.
prepare for tornado if no existing shelters are available.
Oh, boy.
Oh my gosh. What's the time of like this tornado?
Routine 1+ hours. When tornado touches down, funnel cloud can wreak amazing damage.
Man,
Yes,
so that
I
would
agree.
that would be a great hazard of like you are in town and a tornado hits. And
Yeah.
it's like, how do you deal with this? Man.
And then it picks you up and takes you to
Well, yeah.
Oz.
So each hour that a tornado persists in the area, attempt a DC 16 flat check for each PC sheltering above ground, or a DC 6 flat check. On success, that PC is exposed to the tornado's winds, or its hurled debris, and must attempt a DC 32 reflex save, or take 46 bludgeoning, 46 piercing, and potentially be thrown 120 feet in a random direction, depending on how bad you fail.
Dang.
Oh.
What level is this?
12. So it's
I mean,
up there.
That's high.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna just throw this at a level 1 character.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Hazard 12 plus is an interesting one though, because there is bigger tornado spec'd out.
I was gonna say
Oh my gosh.
what's kind of the hilarious aspect of it is like, you know, we think tornadoes is like, oh, you don't want to be in the way of a tornado.
Sure.
But like a level like 17 character would just like
Face check a tornado.
face check a tornado and be like, ooh, a nice stiff breeze.
Yeah, well, the level 17 tornado swarm is for you, Tyler.
Oh.
I'm glad you picked level 17. In a tornado swarm, the survival DC increases to 34, the prepare DC to 43, and the save DC against the tornado's effects to 38.
Oh my gosh.
And you get hit by multiple tornadoes. So instead of like 1 per hour, it's like you get hit by 3 or 4
The
tornadoes.
tornado
Those
brought
check
his
for
friends.
We could play the movie Twister.
Or Twisters.
Twisters.
Just coming out. This episode sponsored by Twisters.
Please, that would be hysterical.
I want to go see that, though.
I mean, Twister was a great movie.
Yes.
I love Twister.
I feel like we all need to watch Twister again, though, because it's been so long since I have seen that
Oh, I
movie.
haven't seen that in over a decade, for
Oh,
sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can actually do weather in a dangerous way,
Nice.
and it turns into a level 17 tornado swarm if you want to get really mad enough at your players.
Wow. Clear the board.
I do like the idea of like your players just like face checking whatever encounter you had, and you're like, meh, roll a perception. The weather gets dark. You see a tornado swarm.
Uh-oh.
This could be an interesting clock, especially if
Ooh.
you like put like an 8-sector clock and it's like every room you check, I
Mm.
click one thing on the clock, you see off in the distance the weather's getting bad, and you make them not have, because Tyler literally texted me. Go on.
No, I'm just thinking of that meme of the dude who's mowing his lawn and the tornadoes in the background. Like, you got to do your chores, keeping an eye on it.
I just know some of us GMs have an issue with like our players want to explore every possible room before we explore the boss room. So you put them on a clock. There's a tornado coming.
Ooh,
You got to
that
get
would
out of here.
That would inspire. No, I was telling Ryan.
Oh,
and-
with your current campaign.
Our Monday night group. It's very impressive. I mean, and some of you are listening to this, but it's just funny. It's like, to be fair, like all the rooms are unknown, so they don't
Sure,
really know where the
sure.
boss is. It's just funny that like of every other floor, they've like skipped half of the stuff, and this one they are hitting like the 100%. They're like,
Look,
we got 2 more rooms left. Let's keep going.
in my defense, I don't know where we are at any given moment because it's all dark and you can only see like the hallway you're in.
That's true.
Have no spatial awareness and I'm like, I have no idea where we
Anyway,
are
so
at
the
any
tornado
time.
hits you in a dungeon next time.
Ah,
Inside tornadoes.
Inside.
Probably.
The tornadoes you didn't see coming.
Yikes.
Okay.
Well, I also decided to go more dangerous
Good.
for my third one. We went from simple to kind of weird to we're in danger. So I chose lava flume tubes,
Ooh.
which is a hazard 10, inspired by Ryan and his room of wine. The lava flume tubes are 4 gated channels that are carved into stone that allow lava to flow into a 15-foot tall room. And the floor can withdraw to allow the hardened lava to fall into a chamber beneath.
That's
so you
cool.
can continue to fill the room with lava for multiple people who might be trying to trespass into wherever
gosh.
this is.
It's a cobblestone generator.
Yeah.
Or that. Or maybe they're just in a factory. This is where we make road.
We can monetize this.
But obviously lava does fire damage. If you get stuck in the lava, you're going to take a bunch of fire damage.
Sure.
You're going to be immobilized. You got to escape. You'll suffocate if you're covered in lava. It's not great. It's not a good place to be stuck.
Like Tyler said before, though, it's interesting in Pathfinder. Like your level 17 character's like, whatever, I bathe in lava every day.
I have fire resistance times a
Yeah.
million.
Yeah, it's funny when like the hazards of things that should be very deadly just kind of break down.
Well, for our like planar mansion murder mystery,
Ooh.
this definitely is one of the rooms.
Ooh.
There's
Ooh.
definitely a lava.
Oh yeah, because
yeah.
it's on a volcano.
Yeah.
Yes, that makes total sense.
That's definitely happening.
People are going to be so angry if we don't do this at some point. With how much we
Who
talk
are we
about
going to play this with? Everybody knows all the tricks.
it.
We'll find somebody.
We got to find
Surely
an
we have friends.
unbiased
that are
group
not
of our
listening.
peers.
I could count on probably one hand.
They would all have to like really remember a lot of content because we have talked about the murder mystery party room house on very random occasions.
It's true.
The
It's
first
true.
time we talked about it was like episode 17 or something. So
true.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
Maybe more. I don't
I
know.
like it. Add lava room.
I
Yeah.
love it, Sam. Big
List.
fan.
Home reno. I like
Yes.
it.
Ryan likes rooms that fill with stuff that might kill people.
Yeah.
There you go.
Every house needs one.
This is where the guests you don't like.
It's my spare bedroom.
Oh dear. Okay. So my third thing, I picked a haunt. So haunts I like as kind of a, kind of a mysterious type of
Mhm.
trap where it's not like mechanical. You're not like, oh, here's the mechanism for which this is happening. It's like, oh, what kind of ghosties are attacking us?
Yep.
And, add some fun, interesting mystery and maybe a little bit of story there. So I picked Eternal Flame, hazard level 7. It is a raging spectral inferno that rises out of thin air, strengthening all undead creatures within its area.
Ooh.
It most often arises from the charred remains of a group of 3 people who burned to death,
Oh.
whether in a terrible accident or a deliberate execution, and their
Ooh.
unavenged souls burn with rage.
Oh.
So already kind of got a story hook in there, and why are there 3 burned bodies? But the thing I like about this, again, it's another complex hazard. So really the kind of main difference between simple and complex is complex will do something when triggered and then continue to do stuff on initiative.
Yep.
Where simple usually just happens and then resets.
Yeah.
So if a creature approaches within 10 feet, memories of the pain suffered by the fire's past victims assault the triggering creature's mind, and then you have to make a will save.
Mm.
So what happens is if you fail, you're sick in 2. If you succeed, you're sick in 1. If you crit fail, you are sick in 3 and flat-footed. This is kind of another one of those like could be combat situations where like you're actively debuffing the party while you're fighting. So like you're not getting damage dealt, but you're making it a lot easier to be hurt.
Yep.
Or like hamstringing the party. So this could be a good. I like these types of hazards because it's like you don't need to necessarily like make a creature elite. It's like, oh, if you just debuff the party, you just effectively brought them down a level. But yeah, and it would be cool to like the fact that it empowers undead. You can have a good like 1-2 punch there.
Well, this feels like the kind of thing as a GM I would cheat And I would say that like a necromancer casted this spell
Yeah.
and like summoned ghost souls, and then it debuffs the whole party.
Mm-hmm.
So like then again, like you said, there's an interesting battle mechanic to engage with while.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not just, oh, here are 3 more undead that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
That would have been good for my ghost town.
Oh, this would have been very
dang.
good for your ghost town. Yes.
In Sam's, the campaign we just finished with Sam's, we went through a ghost town with a bunch of undead.
This would have been pretty on point for level too, right? I mean, it would have been difficult for us, but
Level 7. You could have
we
like
were-
made it weak.
We were 4 or 5.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think, I could have made it work for your group. Darn.
Dang.
Let's do it again.
From the top.
Start it again. Yeah, I just think if you have not used hazards, use them as a way to spice up combat. So it's
Mhm.
not just a I hit, you hit, I hit, you hit. I even think of like your Tarbafon fight, Ryan, where the Tarbafon was there and then
and
like-
then everything else.
and then you had like 3 hazards going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Which if not taken care of, we all would have immediately died.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But like we were able to solve the problem of the hazards while also fighting the enemy, which made him like it really made us go from like, oh no, we are all about to lose this fight to like, okay, we're back in it. We're
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I think something. The other interesting part of that is sometimes you got to throw your different player characters a bone.
Mhm.
You don't want to like say that you're designing for your players always, but like if you're in a dungeon and your rogue has been really active and your fighter's been kicking in doors, and then your cleric's like, I'm here too, guys. Maybe throw them a haunt. They
Yeah.
can use their religion skill. They can figure that
you
part
need
out.
to like this one specifically is you can either diplome or religion to calm down the haunt. So
Right, your bard jumps in, talks to the ghosts, like throw your players a bone.
Bard
like that.
jumps in, tries to flirt with them.
I like your hat, Ghosty.
Oh,
you
boy.
are on fire. I don't know. I think of something. Something about you got the hots for me. There it
Ooh.
is.
Call him a smoke show.
Call him
There it is. Can't do better than that.
I
Nope.
hate that
You gotta
term.
call it there.
Okay,
End
goodbye,
it.
everybody.
End the podcast.
Just straight up end the episode. Well, this has been great. Again, thank you guys. We will be back next week with, I think, hitting up Belkson next week.
Yeah.
Belkson, yeah.
Land of the Orcs.
Land of the
Grr.
Orcs.
Orc.
But yeah, until next time, safe hazards.